Welcome to the Sisters in Loss podcast, a faith-based podcast that spotlights Black women that replace silence with storytelling around pregnancy and infant loss and infertility. Black women experience miscarriage and stillbirth 4 to 5 times more likely than white women in the United States, according to the CDC and NIH. Whether you've experienced a miscarriage, infant loss, or stillbirth, are trying to conceive, or have an infertility diagnosis, you will learn about resources and strategies to heal, gain clarity, peace, and hope, and find an empowering path forward after loss. I'm your host, Erica M. Freeman, and you'll hear me interview other sisters in loss from around the world who have healed from such a painful and traumatic experience by sharing their testimonies and stories to inspire and help others turn their pain into their purpose. Storytelling is powerful. Storytelling is activism. Storytelling is healing. Now let's get started. Welcome to the podcast. I hope that you all are well. I am going to read to you my introduction as stated. Obviously, this is not fully edited, and it will be edited at another time. And we are finishing up the edits for this book, but I had a completely different introduction, and I decided to change it up a bit to make it more realistic to the audience that this is for. I was being a little sister soldier, came back, shared a lot about my personal story, which I think is not necessary. I think that I can save that for a memoir, and that is what I'm going to do. So I took out all of my personal story in the introduction and really just kind of got to the heart of why this book is needed and why now. And I want to share with you it, and I actually want your feedback on it because it gives me real time examples of things that I can change, things that I can improve upon before this book is finally finished. And I hope that this is a way of kicking off Mental Health Awareness Month to really talk about the mental health disparities amongst the Black women who've experienced perinatal loss, pregnancy loss, infertility, birth trauma, all of the above. All right, you ready? My book is titled Never Healing Alone: How to Navigate Grief and Find Community After Pregnancy and Infant Loss. You are listening to this book because your heart is shattered and you're entirely exhausted. Society constantly whispers and sometimes shouts that Black women are naturally resilient. We are expected to carry the weight of the world, effortlessly dust ourselves off and try again, cue Aaliyah, and keep moving forward. But what happens when the weight is a grief so profound it brings you to your knees? For too long, the traditional models of grief we have been handed have asked us to neatly package our pain into rigid stages or perform strength when we are crumbling inside. You are told to be strong, to pray it away, or to simply endure. But healing is not a checklist, and your sorrow was never meant to be carried in silence. I know this exhaustion intimately. When I lost my daughter Brielle, the world expected me to bounce back, but the traditional roadmaps for grief left me stranded. The standard 5 stages of grief felt like a forced march rather than a path to healing. I quickly realized that the tools I was given were not built for me, nor did they account for the unique intersection of my identity, my sorrow, and the systemic pressures I face daily. Having experienced a stillbirth prior to losing Brielle, I thought I knew how to navigate the healthcare system and advocate for myself. But I wasn't prepared to lose another baby and walk out the hospital empty-handed again. To say I was devastated would be an understatement. I was mad, angry, frustrated at myself, my body, and felt like I had lost my agency. Black women often suffer in isolation, shame, and silence after experiencing pregnancy and infant loss. I was one of those Black women. I didn't know where to begin my grieving journey this time. How do I manage my emotions? How do I reconcile how I was treated as a Black woman in the United States healthcare system? How do I begin to grieve and heal? I began by sharing my story on Facebook. 100 plus comments later, I realized that I wasn't alone in the unfair treatment I received in the emergency room. I wasn't alone in feeling like my body had failed me. I wasn't alone in struggling to navigate what grieving and healing would look like. I found community and became the living memory of my baby girl Brielle, her brother BJ, and the other angel I did not name in heaven. I learned that to be alive is to experience grief every day, moments of joy interrupted by moments of sadness. The first step towards healing is acknowledging that daily grief and knowing that moments of joy can live alongside it. Grief is love, grief is a process, grief is messy. Grieving is a lifelong journey. Understanding the unique landscape of our grief. Racism is a public health crisis. It is systemic racism, not race itself, that creates the everyday stress, medical mistrust, and disparities that make Black families disproportionately susceptible to pregnancy loss. We are in the midst of a maternal and infant health crisis. No matter our education level or the money in our bank accounts, Black women are still 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and recent research has shown that we are 43% more at risk for miscarriage than our white counterparts. Yet, despite how common miscarriages are, as Black women, we still feel stigmatized and silenced. The messages we absorb from the news, politics, and media have profound impact on how we grieve. We are constantly navigating controlling images and misogynoir prejudices uniquely faced by Black women. From the historical horrors of chattel slavery to the modern myth of the strong Black woman, society has always tried to dictate our worth and our pain. But these cultural expectations, because of these cultural expectations, we were not taught how to manage life after miscarriage, infant loss, or infertility. We are met with the expectation to be strong, to hide our vulnerability, and to keep our business to ourselves. We aren't taught how to use our voices after they've been silenced. This silence is not just emotional, it is systemic and physical. The overturn of Roe versus Wade and the subsequent state abortion ban shattered our bodily autonomy, deeply complicating how we experienced and are treated for miscarriages. The medical procedures required to save a life during a miscarriage are often the exact same procedures restricted by these bans. I think of Brittany Watts and Caitlin Joshua, who faced criminal charges and profound danger simply for miscarrying. I think of Adriana Smith, kept on life support against her family's wishes due to a 6-week abortion ban. I think of Amber Thurman and Candy Miller, whose preventable deaths were the direct result of delayed care under these same laws. In the United States, Black women are going through the most vulnerable experiences of their lives, are being neglected, criminalized, and disrespected. Amber, Candy, and Adriana should be alive today. This kind of trauma should never be ordinary. I know my story isn't special, and I hope the familiarity of these stories is infuriating to you. Thankfully, there is a fierce community fighting for us. From the Black Maternal Health Omnibus Act, pushing for sweeping legislative changes federally, to grassroots organizations like Sister Song, the Black Women's Health Imperative, and Black Mamas Matter Alliance, Black women have been on the front lines of reproductive justice, birthing justice for decades. We know that policy shifts will change our communities, but we also recognize that change begins within ourselves. As we share our stories within this community, we shift the narrative. We finally give ourselves permission to grieve, to heal, and to come home to ourselves. To survive, I needed a new language for my pain. I needed a framework that honored my reality without demanding I perform the role of the strong Black woman. That is how the healing archetypes were born. These archetypes are not boxes to trap you, they are mirrors to help you understand how you are currently surviving and how you begin to truly heal. Whether you are throwing yourself into work to avoid silence or withdrawing entirely, these archetypes offer a compassionate lens to view your grief. They shift the focus away on how we should grieve and how we actually navigate our pain. Why this book? Why now? I wrote this book for the woman who is trying to find her footing after experiencing an unimaginable loss. She is grieving, she is hurting, she is full of rage and doubt. She doesn't trust the healthcare system, she doesn't trust her body. She is unsure where to begin. The truth, we don't heal from pregnancy and infant loss as if it's something we get over. We heal with it, through it, and even because of it. For us Black women, healing isn't a one size fits all journey. It's not linear. Instead, it often means learning to carry the grief with more grace and less weight, making space for joy without guilt, feeling safe enough to cry and laugh in the same breath. Nelly, Never Healing Alone is a book born from what many of us carry in silence. It is for you, sis, whose grief was rushed, dismissed, and never spoken aloud. It is for the mother who held hope in her body only to have that hope interrupted. It's for the woman who is trying to breathe again in a world that expects her to be strong before she is ready. My intention in these pages is to simply name what has gone unnamed, to validate what you have felt but could not say, and to give you language, tools, and rituals so you can heal with compassion rather than pressure. What this book will do for you. By the time you finish this book, you will not be the same woman who started it. Not because your grief will disappear, but because you will finally have a language for it. You will understand how you have been surviving your grief and why. You will recognize the patterns that have protected you and the ones that have kept you stuck. You will learn how to move towards healing without abandoning yourself in the process. And most importantly, you will know this truth in your body, not just in your mind. You were never meant to carry this alone. This book is not here to rush you, it is here to walk with you. How to navigate this book. This book is a journey in 4 parts, structured around the essential questions every grieving mother asks. Part one, who am I now? You'll begin by grounding yourself in your story and discovering your healing archetype, a compassionate lens for understanding how you move through grief. Part two, who am I grieving? You'll explore the realities of medical racism, name your loss, and make room for memory and love. Part three, who am I healing? You'll uncover practices, rituals, and mental health tools that support healing without rushing it or performing strength. Part four, who am I becoming? You will step into transformation, not forgetting your baby, but honoring them as you rebuild your life, identity, and hope. These parts are not steps you complete in order. They are circles you can return to as many times as you need. Journaling is a core part of this process, not as homework, but as a sacred space for your truth to breathe. This book is an invitation, not a demand. Arthur's note on language. In this book, the terms woman and birthing person are used interchangeably as we recognize and honor that not all people with uteruses identify as women. The racial terms African American and Black are also used interchangeably and refer to persons who have U.S. enslaved African ancestry, whether they are multiracial or multi-ethnic. A final word before you begin. Grief can make you feel invisible, but here in these pages, you are seen. Your motherhood is honored, your pain is valid, your healing is sacred. As you turn these pages, I pray you feel witnessed, held, and companioned. I pray you remember that your baby's life matters, your love matters, and your healing matters. You are a part of a healing lineage now, a lineage of Black women who are reclaiming their stories, grieving aloud, and building spaces where our babies, our bodies, and our voices are honored. You are not healing alone. Let's walk this path and heal together. So I would love for you to share what you all thought about my introduction as it's written. I have not made changes. I am posting this on as we are coming up on Mother's Day and Bereaved Mother's Day first, which is this upcoming Sunday on May the 4th, and then Mother's Day this upcoming second Sunday of the month here in the United States on May the 10th. So May 3rd, Bereaved Mother's Day, and then May 10th is Mother's Day. I am going to post this and I want your feedback. DM me on Instagram at Erica Michelle Free or respond back to me in message this week when this goes live on May the 6th. Share with me what you think about my introduction to my book, Never Healing Alone: How to Navigate Grief and Find Community After Pregnancy and Infant Loss. I love you all. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode. For show notes, go to sistersinloss.com to stay connected with us and join the Sisters in Loss community and receive my weekly newsletter. Please go to sistersinloss.com/newsletter. That is sistersinloss.com/newsletter.